And welcome to Talk FCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome to the match preview between Leganes and Barcelona, which of course will come just 3 days after our first drop point of the season. We want to hit back quickly, and it starts right here. Let's do this. Tomorrow evening we will be travelling to Estadio Municipal de Petarque for an 8 PM kickoff local time, and believe me, we want to go there, win this game, get back on track, and if we can, get an advantage at the top again. And as always, guys, here are the kickoff times right around the world. Kickoff coming to you from Spain, 8 PM local time. And as always, I can count on you to head into this game with a confident mood, with a positive attitude, because a lot of you guys, over half of you, expecting a win here by 3+ goals, which is exactly the kind of response we will be expecting and we need tomorrow night. And I actually think tomorrow's match will be even more important when you look at the fixtures going on elsewhere. It is a big week and a full midweek of round of games in La Liga. Atletico Madrid kick off tonight. They'll be playing on paper what seems like a relatively simple game at home against newly promoted Huesca. That will take place, like I say, later on this evening. But Real Madrid, however, they face a really difficult visit to the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. They'll be facing Sevilla in the game after ourselves on Wednesday. So it is absolutely vital that we win our game on Wednesday, 8 o'clock local time, and then afterwards Real Madrid go to Sevilla and put the pressure on them, make them work hard, make them feel nervous, because we need to establish that advantage at the top of the league as quickly as we possibly can. We had it before, we lost it in the Girona game, and we want that back. And there is absolutely no question about it. We should be winning this game. We should be going to Leganes and winning it. It's as simple as that. And I will come on to our opponents very, very shortly. But just in terms of our own game, we are actually coming into this in what I would say is probably our best form of the season. And that sounds strange given that we just dropped points against Girona. But when you actually look at our performances, our displays on the pitch, how we played, we have been very good. We've seen some very good moments in the bin. We saw some very, very good moments against PSV in the Champions League. We won that game comfortably, scoring some fantastic goals. And even then against Girona on that Sunday, we did play some great football. You know, before the red card, before that game changed, we were doing well. We were playing good passing stuff, and it was good to watch. And that's what we want to see. Take that into Wednesday's game, although make sure we get the result there. Because for me, there's absolutely no need to lose confidence over that simple refereeing decision. It was something that went against us on the day. It didn't quite happen for us for whatever reason, but we'll be back, and we need to come into this game with exactly the same attitude, probably even more focus now. We'll be coming into this game with even more drive, motivation to get that 3 points than before, because now our focus is back. We've had a setback, get the job done here, and do it well. And especially when you do look into the form of our opponents, Leganes, this season they have not been good. And you would expect, going to a team on this kind of form, bad form, you would expect us to get a comfortable win on the face of it. But what I would say right now is, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not write off Leganes here, because I've looked at their results, looked at their performances, and there's a bit more to it than the fact they're bottom of the league. But yes, they are currently stone dead last in La Liga, 20th place. They have just 1 point gained after 5 matches, conceding many goals in the process. Not good defensively, but they really have endured a tough start of the season. But in fairness, when you look at their games, when you look at those fixtures, they have had a tough run of games, difficult teams to come up against, and in many of them, very close results that really could have gone either way. And if we just look at that in a bit more detail, they kicked off the La Liga season with a 2-1 away loss at Athletic Club, but that was pretty much snatched away from them. They looked to be heading to a point in that game. It didn't happen, and Muniain's 92nd minute goal gave them the loss, snatched away that point, and it was very difficult for them. But then they went on, they picked up a very credible point in a 2-2 draw against Real Sociedad at home, and that was even more impressive when you actually consider they were 2-0 down in that game. They were 2-0 down to Sociedad, a good side, but they came back and got that 2-2 draw, gaining their only point of the season. Then came a trip to the Bernabeu. That was a really bad game for them in terms of the scoreline, but they didn't actually play that badly. They lost the game 4-1, but initially they'd equalised at 1-0. Carrillo's penalty got them back in it, and they were holding Madrid for quite a bit of the game, but it just got away from them 4-1 on the night. Then came another loss, this time very close again at home against Villarreal, another tough team to play. They lost 1-0, and it could have been very different again had Carrillo scored again from the spot like he did the game before. He missed the penalty, then they went behind to Carlos Bacca, and they lost another game. And most recently, at the weekend, they had another narrow defeat, this time away at Eibar, a tough place to go, as we all know, a 1-0 defeat which sealed their 3rd successive loss in La La Liga. So like I say, on the face of it, Leganes, bottom of the league, just 1 point from a possible 15 this season, but I don't think we can afford to take them lightly, simply because you look at those performances, you look at those games, and it could have ended very, very differently on any given day. They've been very close to getting some results. We cannot afford to come into this with a lack of intensity, a lack of concentration. We need to be on it, because we really, really don't want to be the team that Leganes end up turning their season around by beating or drawing against the mighty Barcelona. Don't go down that road. Turn up focused, turn up energised, and get the win. And just one final word of warning on Leganes would be regards to their coach Mauricio Pellegrino, who is actually the man who orchestrated Alaves' shot win at the Camp Nou back in 2016. You all remember that game, 2-1. It was a massive, massive surprise on the night, and Pellegrino was the man who did get that job done. And also, in his 2 meetings against Ernesto Valverde as a coach in Spain, he's actually unbeaten right now. He's got a win and a draw against Valverde, and certainly Ernesto tomorrow will want to put that right, and I'm absolutely sure he will. And when you look at previous meetings, we won all 4 of our league meetings against Leganes since they were promoted back in 2016. We've won 3 of those 4 games by at least 2 goals. We've scored 13 goals across those 4 games and conceded just 3 times. Really, really good in terms of our head-to-head matchup against Leganes. Our style seems to work fine against them, no problem at all. And on the head-to-head front, we should certainly there be very, very confident, especially when you look at those 4 meetings, those kind of results. You look at the 2 away games there, our best results against Leganes have actually come playing away from home. So this game should be the perfect one for us. It should suit us fine, and we should get the win. And in his press conference today, Ernesto Valverde did seem to be in confident mood despite Sunday's slight setback. He did once again allude to some potential rotation though. He drew attention particularly to the fact we have 3 matches in 6 days, starting last Sunday against Girona. Now we've got Leganes on Wednesday, and then on Saturday we've got Athletic. 3 grueling fixtures. It's getting tight now, early in the season, players are getting up to speed, but there are a lot of games coming thick and fast. And he said as much himself. He said, we have the players for all of these matches. I'm going to have to rotate, I'm going to have to use one or the other, and I'm going to have to make some changes. So I would certainly expect a few more little changes here and there tomorrow. And just a quick word finally on Clement Longley before we move on to the squad list and my predicted lineup. A quick word on Longley because today Barcelona have had their appeal for his red card turned down. It's been declined, not success on that one. Longley will serve a suspension, but it will only be a 1-match ban. Longley will miss tomorrow's game against Leganes, but he will be back in the squad for Saturday's meeting against Athletic. But without further ado, let's move on to squad list here. And Ter Stegen, Semedo, Piqué, Rakitic, Sergio Busquets, Coutinho, Arthur, Suarez, Messi, Dembele, Silesen, Malcolm returns to the squad, Jordi Alba, Munir, Roberto, Vidal, Umtiti, and Thomas Vermaelen also in the squad in for the suspended Clement Longley. Very interesting squad there, not a massive surprise. I'm glad to see Malcolm back. One player who's not there is Juan Miranda, and a lot of people were expecting him to be there because he didn't go to Spain under-19 training simply because it was believed that he would be included in today's squad. It hasn't happened for whatever reason, and now we will move on to what we're going to see potentially from Ernesto Valverde's starting lineup tomorrow night. And judging by what Valverde has said and what he's done in previous weeks, I would expect something quite similar to this, and especially with what we've heard recently in the local media, and I will come on to that now. Ter Stegen in goal, Jordi Alba at left back. There's pretty much no other substitute, maybe Marlon there, but that's not going to happen. Umtiti and Piqué, I think with Longley suspended, he's just going to get back to basics, keep those 2 there, and we need a concentrated display from both of those players tomorrow. Sergio Roberto, I feel, will return. Semedo played on Sunday, Roberto back in for this game, and then Busquets, Arthur, and I've got Rakitic in midfield. I wouldn't be surprised to see Arturo Vidal once again return to the starting lineup. I think Rakitic will be back in there because he's dependable. Valverde likes to put him in these kind of games away from home. And then according to Spanish sources, Felipe Coutinho will move to the front 3 and take the place of Ousmane Dembele, who was substituted, of course, at half-time against Girona. Suarez will start, Messi will start according to the Spanish media, but I wouldn't be surprised, and I would kind of like to see Malcolm. I would like to see him somewhere, whether from the left, maybe from the right, maybe put Messi false 9 and play Malcolm and either Coutinho or Dembele. I would just like to see Malcolm, now he's back from injury, getting a few minutes at some point. But like I say, I would expect something very, very close to this. Maybe a few small changes here and there. I think Arthur and Vidal both played decently, very well in some areas against Girona. I wouldn't be surprised to see either of those two tomorrow. But roughly, Valverde not going to take too many amount of chances away from home. Get the job done, get the victory, and then on Saturday against Athletic, maybe we will see a few more rotations ahead of the Tottenham game. So that is pretty much it in terms of the match preview, guys. I am going to go with Barcelona 3, Leganes 0 in this game. I predicted a big win on Sunday. That didn't quite happen, but I am really confident this time out. Barcelona always have a track record of when they're down, getting straight back up, hitting back in the only way they know how. I'd expect Messi again to be brilliant, get on the score sheet. I'm not going to talk about individual awards. I'm not going to talk about that nonsense. Let's move on with the proper football, with this team sport that it is. I will see you guys tomorrow for the big game. Please leave your predictions in the comments down below, and I will see you then. Thank you as always for joining me. I'll see you soon. But until then, as always, Fresca el Barça.